We have an agenda for today. Len? Tom? Is that me that's making the echo? Anything else for the agenda? Carol? Carol and Jane? That's all. I'd welcome a motion. Motion by Tom to approve the agenda with additions. Second by Len. All in favor? We're unanimous. Len, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the council. Good morning. I just, excuse me, over the weekend, I seen that we lost tribal member Sherry Claremont. Tonight's her rosary. They're going to bury her tomorrow. I would like to request that we lower flags today for her in her honor. Issue number 2 is I would like to make the motion to release the employees tomorrow at noon.
Got a motion to have early out by noon tomorrow. That's second by Tom. All in favor? Martin? Carol? We're unanimous. So early out by 12 tomorrow, just on the basic same conditions we had right before Christmas. So essential workers are still working. What, Carol?
Velma Wabansi died too, and her services are today. I'd like to go to that if we get done.
Thank you, Carol. Tom, your issue?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Actually, Len covered one of them for me, so I was able to second that. I just wanted to let council know that there was a Montana news piece yesterday morning on CBS News. It was filmed this summer about the Republican defectors that joined our Democratic senators and reps to help minimize the amount of damage that could have happened with our last legislative session. So if you hadn't seen it, it's on CBS News, and it's an interview with a good friend from St. Regis, Dan Logie, and a good friend from up on the Highland, Butch Gillespie, and there's a couple other ones. I really don't know Josh very well, Kashmir, but I know those other two guys. So I actually gave them a call, congratulate them on the great interview, but really was a good article saying, look, this is the kind of thing that America needs. We don't need this partisan type stuff. You know, we need to really come together and common good. So it was good. It was a good news piece if you haven't seen it. So I'll let Shane know because he was one of the ringleaders in that. So it was good. So you're gonna get a chance to see it. They filmed it in July. They just aired it the other day. So anyway, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Tom. Carol?
Yeah, it just caught my memory when Tom brought up the correction in the minutes on that Johnson property. Was that what you were talking about? The property down there?
No, I was referring to our engineer, Mark Johnson, and the contractors' donations.
Well, the Mark Johnson property, that USDA and Republic, is it Republic? Yeah, it's that. You know, I think we're not getting no movement. I mean, I'm sorry that I just feel like there's nothing going on. So I would like to see if council would at least show interest. And that doesn't mean we're going to purchase, but maybe we can get somebody to move on on it, because I'm sorry, Jordan's not doing anything. And I feel awful because we're gonna lose it. But if we don't want it, let's just tell Mark so he can move on. I haven't talked to Mark at all. Tom's the one that mentioned it, so I just thought, well, we gotta do something, or let's just let it go so he can move on.
We definitely told uh, Jordan that we needed some research done.
And I guess it makes me feel sad because I feel like we tell somebody something, and I know he's having a hard time getting a hold of Mark, but that's an excuse. I can get a hold of Mark, so I know he can. We just need to move.
And it sounds like the granddaughters are really quite available. So see what we can get done. James,
Yeah, I just wanted to notice council, I think we've all heard that Chief Judge of the Chippewa Cree Tribe, Harold Monto passed. And yeah, he just passed, is it the 27th, Ruth? Yeah, so his funeral is coming up. Yeah, it says Saturday, he passed away on Saturday, December 27th. Wake services will begin at 2 p.m. on Tuesday, December 30th. And will continue until his funeral service, which will be at 9 a.m. on Wednesday, December 31st at the St. Mary's Catholic Church. Burial will follow in the New Rocky Boy Cemetery. So that's on the Holland and Bonnie Funeral Home website. So that's coming up. And he was a tribal lawyer for us back in the 80s, right? In the 90s. Yeah, thanks, Ruth Lemlemsch. So I wanted to mention that. And I also wanted to notice council that our good council member, Carol Langford, has at 31 years tying Sonny Morjo for 31 years right now. And EW is at 34. So this term, if you make it through it, Carol, you'll be the longest. I said we need to name a street or do something cool, but she said no. So, but I do want to recognize you, Carol, for that. So thank you for your 31 years of service and looking forward to, moving on to 34 to beat the record. And that's it. Can we put you on the recording? Just kidding. Just teasing. You put it in writing. But no, thank you, Carol, for all those years of service. Lemlemsch.
thanks, James. Well, is Miss Earth Boy on? CSKT.
Yeah, we
Housing
have
Authority.
Ruth up first. I'm trying to get the other ones here.
Say again.
We have Ruth up first. And I'm trying to get Alana and Chelsea and Samantha here.
Okay.
They're on their way.
Good morning, Ruth. Come on up. Morning, Patty.
All right. Let my coworker do the hard part. So good morning, council. Two issues before you today. First one, full disclosure, it's after the fact. I was told yesterday morning that we've already processed the elder's payment amount. But when we go and actually follow the resolution, it says that the council does have to approve the amount to be dispersed. We informed you during the budget process that we would suggest increasing that, and you agreed when you enacted the budget, but we still want to take this step to formally have you declare that amount for the payment of $700. The checks will be mailed, I guess, tomorrow. The payment date is January 2nd. So that's when the direct deposits will post, and that would be probably the soonest anyone would receive a mailed check. Would be the 2nd.
Go ahead, James.
I'd make a motion to approve the request, and then I have a question.
Got a motion by James to approve the $700 elder payment for 2026, second by Bing. All in favor? So we're unanimous on that. Go ahead, James.
So Ruth, remind me where the funding comes for that.
Yes, good question, Councilman Steele. It comes from the state revenue sharing agreements that we have for motor fuels, alcohol, and cannabis. And we have had the increase coming in largely through the cannabis addition. It is more than what we're collecting in the fuels, or excuse me, the alcohol portion. So the revenue coming in 25 is just over 1.1 million. We also had accumulated unspent funding from the previous years since this started. So we were comfortable suggesting to council to make the increase. We look at what we started the payment at, which was 500, and look at the inflation that has affected it and try to keep it as close as possible so that the purchasing power of that is not diminished.
Thank you, Ruth. Carol, go ahead.
Currently, we're in the baby boomer era of this age group. And they're probably the largest group. So next, I don't know when that ends, probably when I'm gone. Because I'm the infant baby boomer. So
Me too.
so how many do we have right now that collect?
Irma told me that 1,616 were eligible for this payment.
Holy.
Obviously, they adjust, unfortunately, for if you are not living as of tomorrow, then your payment will be not made. So,
So 65 and over.
yes, as of the 31st. So the eligibility is the last day of the calendar year. So obviously next year, persons born in 1961 and prior, as of 12/31. And I understand there's a slight change in how we were notifying folks. Central Accounting was sending out letters every month to those who were attaining age 65. But when council took action to just say it's automatic, I don't know, because I asked Greg yesterday, I said, are you still sending letters out? Because I never got a letter. And I said, I don't know what data you're going by to issue payment. So some of these brand new 65-year-olds might have an improper address. See, so he said they were going to use the December per capita address. I said, well, okay, we'll got to start somewhere. So hopefully we can meaningfully address that and improve the process because, you know, people who were already on direct deposit and receiving it should not see any change at all, but it's the new ones I was a little kind of worried about. Like myself, since I'm a new 65.
We'll find out if the check gets to you.
I'll check on Friday. All right, thank you, council. Any further questions on that? Yeah, they'll go out of our mailroom tomorrow. Yes, ma'am. So spread the good news. Second question or second issue, if you want to do this in open session or if you want to do it in closed, because it's about the pay plan and the proposed changes to that. Your pleasure.
Closed or open? Okay, request, we'll go out of executive or out of regular into executive. One is the rate increase, the 3.01 rate increase, and the second question Martin had raised is that we don't have a limit to the number of steps.
Mhm.
So we got two issues.
Good.
Motion by Martin to eliminate having a limit on the number of steps in the pay schedule. Second by James. Motion is that right now there's a limit established after the seventh step, that is a red line. And Martin's saying that we shouldn't do that. We should just continue steps without a red line. And that's what his motion is, to continue without a red line. We got a motion by Martin, second by James. All in favor? 3, 4, 5. I got 6, 4, and 1 opposed. It carries.
Okay.
The second question is to implement
Did he
the
get that
rate
right?
increase that's been suggested. Motion by Carol. Second by Bing. All in favor? James? I've got 6-4 and 1 against. James against. Motion carried. No, don't have to. Thank you, Ruth.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Patty.
Got all confused. I can't add. It's like 7, right? Okay.
And Alana and Jody are on and they can share their screen for their request.
Good morning, Alana. Morning, Jody.
Good morning. Hi. So today I'm presenting 2 separate but related housing commitments involving CSKT and the Housing Authority. I will briefly walk through each item and explain what is being committed by whom and the required approvals. CSKT support for SCAHA's IHBG competitive housing project. The first item is about a letter of commitment from CSKT in support of SCAHA's fiscal year 25 IHBG competitive grant application with HUD. This project is for a permanent supportive housing facility in Ronan. The letter commits to 3 items. However, we are requesting a 4th item outside of the grant application. The items are as follows. CSKT pledges $500,000 from the Second Circle Lodge insurance proceeds for the construction project, which is 14 housing units. These funds would be used precisely as outlined in SCAHA's grant application. 2, being CSKT is also committing to the long-term operation and maintenance of the facility once it's built and gifted to CSKT. That includes things like utilities, insurance, maintenance, staffing, and supportive services for residents. 3, CSKT is also confirming that these housing units will remain available to IHBG eligible families for at least 20 years. The project's required useful life. Please note that SCAHA will provide the tenant-based assistance to ensure sufficient rental income for the program. The 4th item is to utilize the remaining $200,000 of the Second Circle insurance proceeds to purchase items for interior design and outdoor residential spaces as these are outside of the construction budget. I want to note that all of this is contingent on HUD's approval of SCAHA's IHBG competitive grant. And then the second item is rebuilding the Second Circle Youth Lodge home. The second item is separate and this is a commitment from SCAHA to the tribes. SCAHA is committed to rebuilding the Second Circle Lodge Youth Home. For this project, SCAHA will contribute $1.5 million in Indian Housing Block Grant funds. That funding will cover all planning, design, and construction costs, including SCAHA's indirect costs. Right now, the anticipated timeline for this project looks like planning and designing in 2026, construction starting in 2027, and completion no later than 2028. Once the project is complete, SCAHA will gift the facility to CSKT. At that point, CSKT would take on the ongoing operation and maintenance, including utilities, insurance, maintenance, staffing, and supportive services for the youth who live there. SCAHA has emphasized that they recognize the importance of the Second Circle Lodge and remain committed to working closely with CSKT leadership and service providers throughout this process. Thank you for considering these proposals. We are now available for any questions on the topic.
We got questions? No questions? I find it interesting that we're using Second Circle insurance money for the housing project and then using housing money for the Second Circle project. That's interesting too. Go, Carol.
Yeah, I was just curious if it's okay to, I mean, is there a deadline? I mean, I know there's a deadline, but can we absorb this a little bit? I mean, there's a lot here, but maybe everybody else is okay with it.
How soon is the answer necessary?
So the grant application, I think, is due January 15th. And so, and the reason why this is kind of set up this way is the Housing Authority was already planning to build a new Second Circle Lodge, and that was on, determined through multiple conversations for Second Circle and needing a custom home for the kids and their needs. And so we had money that we had earmarked to already do that, 1.5 million. And then as we were creating the grant application for the Morning Star, there were items that were outside of the construction project. And so we couldn't pay for that. And then we needed more money to actually build the facility that they need. And that is just because it costs too much right now. When I first started, we would apply for grants at $150 a square foot. Now it's more like $330 a square foot. So it just costs too much. So the ceiling limit is 5 million, and we need 5.5 in order to get all of the items that they need to do the program at its full capacity. So I was like, okay, well, if we're already giving 1.5 million, perhaps the tribes would be willing to give the 700,000 to us to use to give back to them. So it's kind of like reciprocity, I guess. And then I did run it by through Teresa because she was the one I was working with to do the Second Circle Lodge. And she's the one who told me there was 700,000 in proceeds that was insurance money. And Rick had told me that they did get insurance money, but they didn't have enough to build what they needed. So anyway, this was like a win-win-win for everybody. And we're kind of the ones facilitating it, to coordinate it, to make it happen. But it's all for the benefit of our people.
Carol, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Jamie, Jody, for that explanation. That really helps out a lot. The other question is, how many beds for young women and young men in each one in the?
For Second Circle, we
Yeah.
haven't got to the design yet. In my mind, I was imagining we would do 5 girls and 5 boys, but that will be a program decision that we won't start until 2026. So we will soon start those discussions to design the program building that is necessary, but we haven't got that far yet.
Yeah, I think there was a design out at Kicking Horse for the dorms, the way they had them set up for men and women, and how they had their beds set up out there. That was a cool concept, and it fit a lot of people into a room. I don't know if that's the case, because some of these kids have some real, I don't want to say mental, but some issues going on. So they may need individual rooms, but anyway, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm okay to take care with it.
In my mind, I was picturing something more like the SKC dorms, where they had individual bedrooms and they shared a bathroom, and then they would all have common space, like a community living room and kitchen area, so that they would like eat as a family, but they have their own space.
An even number would make more sense than 5. Go ahead, James.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Chair. Jody, my question is regard to the existing burned out facility there for Second Circle. Thank you. Is that going to be demolished, or is that part of this, or is that where you're building is separate from the current?
Yes.
Correct.
Where it's earmarked to build is just to the west of transitional supportive housing. It's part of that, I don't even know what we're calling it, the CSKT, where the park and the playground is in transitional supportive housing, and then it would be Second Circle Lodge. And I think Patricia Corshane was the one who determined that was the best location because it was in walking distance to all the services.
Other questions for Alana and Jody? Go ahead, Mark, Tom.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just in reference, the Doer employee housing project is using the footprint of the old Second Circle.
Okay.
And they may have to, the end point of entrance would be on the east of the current road off Terrace Lake Road. So they may have some other permits to go for, but it's like a duplex facility. I guess my comment is for Jody. We had a presentation a couple weeks ago, Jody, related but kind of unrelated, on surveying. And it was a survey that I think housing has done before in regard to needs assessment for housing is related to even homelessness. But I think Teresa was involved with that discussion and legal and the need for that type of a survey to be vetted through our institutional review board in order for it to happen. Oh, she has something in chat.
So you're talking about the point in time count? That is a national homelessness assessment.
Yep. So it was a council direction at that time to do something like that in-house, but keep it in-house if we do it at all. We didn't see the benefit for the point in time survey that has been done by housing. So I just wanted to make sure you heard that directly from council.
So you're saying don't participate in the annual national homelessness survey that is given to the Congress to allocate funds for homelessness.
That's correct. We would do it ourselves and use the data and share the data as appropriate. But it has to be vetted through our policy, through our institutional review committee, institutional review board. It has to be vetted that because it's a human resource survey.
Even though we've done this for years.
Does it make any difference? That's a policy today, Jody. That's the tribal policy that you would have to comply with as anybody would on the reservation once we declare policy.
Okay.
Thank you.
I hear that I am not allowed to participate.
We got two questions here. The supportive housing question, Morningstar, and then the Second Circle question. Carol?
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead,
I
Carol.
would like to have some future discussions about Morningstar, but it has nothing to do with this, what they're doing.
We do have some time. We could save this till next week. Martin?
Oh. I motion Carol, but yeah, I think we've discussed this. The one thing is Teresa on? I mean, could she address her comments in the chat?
Yes, sir, I am on. Can anybody hear me?
We hear you. Go ahead.
Yes. My comments was that the 1.5 million contribution from SCAHA for Second Circle is absolutely greatly appreciated. We also talked about in the construction of Second Circle that we hoped we could achieve some area for foster care youth who are aging out, who are homeless. And I think that could be achieved. My one comment was that I did not understand that the 700,000 Second Circle insurance money would be allocated to Morningstar. I think we just need to verify that the operational costs will be covered when you think about supporting Second Circle in 2028 and continuing to support the new transitional supportive housing in Ronan. I was really hoping that Corky's on leave today, and because Second Circle and transitional housing are both under him, and then Michelle is also on leave today. So I would just like to dot that one I that we are in good shape on all operational costs.
Where does that leave us?
Does it leave us with sufficient time for next week to address the operational cost issue with maybe Ruth's assistance so that we are not holding up housing on either of these projects? Could we address those items on Monday morning?
It would be Tuesday.
Tuesday. Right. Thinking that we could gather some data on Monday morning and then address this on Tuesday. I don't know the schedule. Sorry.
If there isn't any opposition to that, I think we will wait until Tuesday to make the decision at the recommendation here. Next year. So we'll get you scheduled Tuesday.
Okay, I'm not quite understanding what the concern is.
Maybe by Tuesday, we'll be able to say that cleaner.
Okay, it feels like a weird dynamic between Tom and Teresa's opinions over what housing is doing and what Morningstar, how it's operating maybe.
Well,
But it's feeling uncomfortable for me.
I believe there's a valuable question as to the operation and maintenance of both these facilities that Teresa's bringing up. I think that is a very valid question. So we will schedule Tuesday.
Okay, thank you for your time. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kelsey, good morning.
Just wanted to say. Just kidding. You heard me.
Good morning, Chairman and members of Council. Samantha and I are here today to ask for your support for a couple of resolutions, and so I'm going to talk about the first one. This is to apply for funding from the Rocky Mountain Tribal Leaders Council. They had received a CDC grant titled A Cultural Approach to Good Health and Wellness in Indian Country. We would like to apply to be a sub-awardee of this. And with this money, we will focus on heart disease and stroke prevention through individual outreach and community outreach through education and community-based heart-related screenings.
Question about resolution to pursue some grant money from Rocky Mountain Tribal Leaders.
Motion to approve.
Motion by James to approve the submission of the application for this money. Second by Bing. All in favor? We have all four.
Thank you.
Second issue.
Good morning. So as Chelsea mentioned, we have another resolution. Hallie is handing out you guys know I like handouts and summaries, so oh, this is Chelsea's. Okay, so this resolution is to apply for Road to Zero Community Traffic Safety Grant proposal. It's essentially continuation of the work that we have presented to you guys in the past on our pedestrian safety work. And there's another funding opportunity for a 1-year grant for $200,000. This next year, what we're hoping to do if we're awarded is build stronger relationships with Montana Department of Transportation. We already have a commitment letter from them stating that they would engage in this work if we are awarded with it. And so we would continue working on the quick build projects and working with Scott at NRD to use his action plan to address areas.
1346. Thank you. Bye.
So we would continue working with Scott to address areas that his safety action plan has already been identified as problematic, and then continuing the quick build projects with the temporary installations, and then also looking at permanent improvements for pedestrian safety and walkability. And then, like I said, one of our big focuses is to build better relationships with MDT. So we are just asking for approval to apply for this Road to Zero proposal.
Question for Sam? Martin?
Motion.
Motion by Martin to approve the, what is it, the Road to Zero Community Traffic Safety Grant. James, second. Second by James. All in favor? You with us, Len? Unanimous.
All right, thank you all. Have a good
Thank
day.
you all. Happy New Year.
That is it, unless you guys want a quick break before legal.
We'll go out of regular into executive.
And then Chad wanted to speak with you guys when you guys come back.
Okay, and we'll take a break.
Motion, thank you, Mr. Chair. Motion to approve the reappointment of John Matt to the SK Technologies Board.
Motion by James, second by Carol. All in favor? I got 6-4, 7-4. Unanimous.
Thank you for your time. That's all I had.
Thank you.
Unless there's any questions.
There's all kinds of questions always.
Hearing none, I'm out. Thank you very much.
We need $100 million and we will expect that coming shortly.
I'll see what I can do, sir. Thank you again. Thank you.
Out of regular back into executive.
All right. With that said, the action that we have, Mr. Chairman and council members, is a resolution to allow Fannie Mae to offer loan products to tribal members on trust lands within the boundaries of the Flat Indian Reservation.
Motion by Tom to allow Fannie Mae to offer to actually buy trust mortgages, basically. Second by Carol. All in favor? We're unanimous.
Okay. Well, thank you, and hope you all have a great New Year's, and we'll see you next year.
Happy New Year. Next year. But it's not even noon yet?
I know, way to go. They give us credit on our travel budget?
8 o'clock Friday. Please. That's our agenda.